Welcome back to the channel, Pink Ember Media. This is our show, Reality Armchair. It's Reality
Reality
Armchair,
Armchair.
and there's a lot to go over this episode, so I think we're just gonna kind of get into it.
Well, we're doing Survivor season 48, episode 4.
Episode 4. I think it actually is like three things I briefly want to mention. The wall that we did today for the vinyls is based
Actually, the losing team.
the losing team, not the winning team this time, which was Lagi.
The losing team was
Vula.
Like every single episode.
Every episode, they've never won. So we have Chromacopia, Tyler the Creator, number 86,000, Saint Motel, Voyeur, and Scissors Control, Quedeca's I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. Second thing I really wanted to brief on is that we're now on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We have 2 episodes up currently, and I'll upload the third one onto Spotify and Apple Music or Apple Podcasts while I'm editing this episode. So by the time you're watching this, it should all be up, including the one you're watching right now, in case you want to watch it over there.
Or just listen to it.
Yeah, or listen to it. If you're driving or you're sleeping or you're cooking or whatever, it's over there if that's more convenient for you. And if you do go over there, appreciate a rating. I think that helps.
And a follow and like, subscribe.
Do they have like and subscribe on there?
Well, they at least have follow on Spotify.
Yeah, so follow and rate if you can. And if you're over here, like and subscribe if you like the content. That's kind of all I really wanted to brief on tonight.
Hopefully our audio is better.
Hopefully, oh yeah, we got new microphones. Kind of testing with it, but it should sound a lot better. And I have more control over it while editing. And today we're going to be drinking 19 Crimes Revolution Red Blend Limited Edition Green. I think I just realized that it says based from Irish history and real events.
Yeah, that's why they were selling it.
It's St. Patrick's Day. We got this in LA when we saw St. Motel. Since I think it's fitting, I'm wearing green. The wall is green. The losing team is green.
I guess I forgot to wear green today.
Well, you never know. We're just gonna drink this, and then you can start with that.
Well, they came back from tribal council from voting out pizza guy Justin. And the deal was for Mary and Say to get along. So we see that they're starting to get along. Say leaves a note in sticks for Mary because Cedric and Say are going to go out looking for an idol. And the note in the sticks just said Mary idol.
Mary hunting for idol or something like that? No,
Mary idol hunt or something.
Mary idol hunting is what it was.
And then she comes back and she's like, "Aw," and then goes and finds them, and they seem to actually be getting along. Like Mary and Say start having a conversation, and Say actually says,
"It's a little loud."
Say actually says that it hurt her feelings that Cedric voted for her, and now she doesn't really trust Cedric, even though he has no clue that Say is feeling that way. Which, if you know anything about Say, you should know that she's feeling that way. But I also wrote that like Mary said that she can tell when Say is looking at her with real life eyes versus her game eyes.
Yeah, because they're like soft or something like that.
They're like real life soft eyes.
Yeah, versus her intense game eyes.
Yeah, that's very true. And then they walk into what they think is an immunity challenge, and it's actually just them dropping their buffs. And they switch up the teams, the tribes, and they pick their new buffs from a tray. And you can see that Eva's like super nervous. She's like
fidgeting.
Yeah, and she's starting to get very nervous. And then so the breakdown ends up being green. Vula has Joe, Camilla, Thomas, Shaheen, and Kyle. So that had all the California girls and
the duo from Siva.
Yeah, Kyle and Camilla. And then the orange tribe of Siva, they have Cedric, Say, Mitch, Chrissy, and Bianca. and Cedric and Zay obviously from Vula, Chrissy and Mitch from Siva, and then Bianca from Logie. And then purple Logie team is, or I always say team when it's tribe, but it's David and Charity from the same team, tribe, and Star and Eva from the same tribe, and then Mary from Vula.
Yeah, so there's an all girls except for one guy, and all guys except for one girl.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, so my notes on that were like the California girls stayed together. No Vula members went back to Vula, like completely new tribe,
which is hilarious because
it's
like a fucking bomb shelter, not a bomb shelter, but like a bomb wasteland, like
so bad,
horrible.
And then Star, they didn't even mention this, but Star is still on her camp with the idol that she still hasn't found.
Yeah, which is a pretty big deal because they had it in the preview of last episode that they're doing the merge, or like the mini merge, and my first reaction was like, well, Star's fucked, because if she gets put on another island or on another part of the island and she still hasn't found that idol, she's not going to have her vote until who knows how long. But she got put on the same tribe, so she's good.
Which in the On Fire podcast, because they've had people comment like, how do you manipulate that these things happen where like all the California girls are on one tribe, Star stays on her camp, like Eva and Joe get separated. Like people have asked like, are you manipulating that or like producing that? And Jeff always reiterates that it is by chance. Like they just let things happen. They don't like do any producing. And so all of that is by chance. And then we see that Eva's connecting with David. So that is the Logie tribe. And Eva says that she's like actually nervous about being on a tribe with all girls, and she's not really like ever used to being around all girls. She's on a hockey team with all guys. Does she say she has all brothers?
No, I think he said he has all sisters.
He has all sisters.
And she said I'm about to sneeze. Oh my god.
Bless you.
Thank you. She just said that she's used to having like guy friends, which I've met a lot of girls who are like, oh, I don't get along with other girls. Like I'm mostly just friends with boys.
She's up.
Usually that means a certain thing.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed to hear that about Eva. I mean, it makes sense, but I think she might come out.
All right, we're back. Vienna woke up, so we had to tend to her for about 10 minutes, but should be good, hopefully. We were last talking about David and
Eva.
And Eva's relationship flourishing from...
Talking about jet skis,
yeah, which they didn't actually show, but apparently they both really love jet skis.
What do you mean they didn't actually show?
Did they show them talking about it?
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember what they said. Or
there was just a moment of like Eva being like, "No way," and it was about jet skis.
I thought it was about something else, but I guess I'm wrong.
I thought they showed at least a little bit about talking about jet skis. But we were talking about how Eva is the type of girl that doesn't like other girls,
which is, I think, fine. It's when you add on to I get along better with boys, which usually means a certain thing.
What does it mean?
It means you're a little bit more of a flirt, and
you just feel more comfortable around men who you can flirt with, or
or like bro out with. Like, I don't know. I just, there's like two girls in my mind that come to me when I've literally heard them say that, and they're both the same type of person. They don't really remind me of Eva though, and I just think I'm kind of the opposite. Like I get along well with men, but I feel like I relate more and can talk about more things with women. Maybe it's because my media preference tends to be more towards like Grey's Anatomy and like more feminine music and more, I don't know, stuff that traditionally men don't like to talk about or aren't interested in.
Are you gay?
No, I mean, I would say my taste is relatively gay leaning, I guess you could say. Well, it's just because I grew up with a gay cousin and I grew up with a lot of females in my life, and you're kind of like forced to watch these programs and listen to this certain type of music, and then you're like after a while it kind of like resonates with you and you like it. And I think I just developed a very open um, palette of media, including like more like rom-com shows or like soap operas or more feminine music like Britney and
You didn't get into reality TV until me, though, right?
no, well, that's not
Well, you
true.
watched The
I watched The
Challenge,
Challenge. I watched Jersey
Jersey
Shore
Shore.
growing up, which is like off the deep
Eh,
end of like trash.
well, sure, but that was
Um,
quite popular with
yeah, and
my
then
age group, which all your cousins were my age group.
yeah,
So
Real World, and I like dabbled in reality TV. I didn't watch it nearly as much as I do now, but I do love shows like Love Is Blind, which is very. I can't say I know a ton of men that would willingly watch a show like that, but it is very interesting.
I specifically remember the moment that you like were drawn in
It
to.
was Shake season. It was the reveals, and I was like, "What the fuck is
What is
happening?"
that?
But I mean, if anyone who knows me knows that my preference usually leans towards that. Grey's Anatomy is probably my favorite show of all time, and I think that alone will kind of tell you what kind of person uh, or what kind of stuff I'm into. But I think it ranges quite a bit. So I do actually like more like manlier things like rap and hard rock, and I think I can get along with everyone. But I can kind of see where Eva's coming from. But again, the notion of like I don't get along with girls, I get along with men or like boys. It kind of just like I don't know.
It's very othering to say that right off the bat
Yeah,
and not get to know any of her tribe members. Um, because actually, when they were put in that tribe, I immediately thought maybe Mary would be a good person for her to
that.
tell about her autism.
I didn't think Mary. I didn't think that. I did think that she might get along with Mary, but they didn't really show that much
No interaction.
connection with
Yeah.
her. And same with the other girl. I don't even remember who it was. I know that Star's on there and they don't talk.
There's Charity, Star, Eva, and Mary are the four girls.
Okay, yeah. So Charity's not even involved within Eva's.
We haven't seen either Charity or Mary interact with Eva, except
I
for the
think
one group when Eva throws Star under the
yeah.
bus.
So like immediately after the David and Eva stuff, for some reason Star. I mean, I guess to find the idol or like solve it. She immediately leaves the group while everyone's doing introductions, which is exactly what she did the
The
first day, and
mm-hmm.
was what ostracized her into being like this, not really a threat, but like somebody who's not willing to play strategically or like with others. So she leaves, and the first chance Eva gets, which is pretty soon, is to tell this new tribe that Eva or that Star was on the bottom, and that they were like just trying to figure out how to get her to lose, or not get her to lose, but
They would have gotten rid of her right away.
yeah, they were just trying to figure out how to get her out.
And that she has an idol that she is searching for and still hasn't found.
Yeah, so she completely blew up her whole spot. And if Eva or not Eva, if Star finds that idol, or if she figures out the idol before um, they actually lose, then I think they're in some deep trouble, and they'll actually have to vote one of each other out, because
if
I think
Star catches on to the fact that she would be the one maybe voted out, actually.
I don't know if that tribe is very savvy enough to pull off we'll just keep you feeling assured that you're going to go with us to the end, or like pass this vote, enough to not make her player idol. I could be totally wrong, but
well, this happened later when David said that he wanted to get Charity out. Like he knows that Eva wants to get Star out, and but David he really wants to get Charity
gun
out.
set on getting Star out, or getting Charity out, which doesn't make any sense because Star has the idol. or she has a clue to the idol, and if she gets it, I guess that could be like a we will split the votes kind of thing. But either way, it's just not.
I just think that currently Star is not a threat because she doesn't have a vote. She doesn't have her idol.
If she gets the idol and she gets her vote back, I think it'll be worth. I think at that point you'd get Charity out, but I think the way to play that, if I were them, if they lost and she had the idol, would be to make Star really uncomfortable and like have her think that she's going to go in or that she's going to be the vote, and then just pour it all onto Charity.
Yeah.
So she wastes it, and then they pour it onto Charity, and they make Charity think that she's going to be safe. If I'm correct, she also doesn't, or am I thinking of Bianca or someone else doesn't have an idol?
Bianca does not have a vote.
Yeah, she doesn't have a vote,
and she is not going to reveal that.
Yeah, so pretty much that's kind of everything that happens
but
with that
Bianca
tribe.
is on a different tribe.
That's what I'm saying. But I think that's pretty much everything on that tribe. They don't really talk about much else, especially just about David and Eva kind of bonding. They didn't really have much to say, and I think that was the Logi tribe that they're on.
That's Logi.
So they have like their whole place is decked out. Like they got a hammock.
No, well, yeah, they do have
they have a hammock, a tarp. It's pretty nice. I think Siva's is actually better, but Logi's is pretty good comparison to Vula's. But
I think it seems like Logi has like the luxury items, like the hammock and the tarps, but Siva does have quite a nice camp. They was saying that there's like a freaking kitchen there.
Yeah, they have a cutting board, which is pretty crazy.
That's pretty wild. And then Chrissy offers up cassava.
Yeah, which we had to look up. There's a plant that is apparently could be dangerous.
It's a root.
Oh, it's a root, and it could be dangerous if you don't prep it properly.
So I think they showed that they were boiling it and then eating it, which is the way to
boil it, dump the water, eat it.
Yeah,
until it's tender. In case anyone wants to eat it.
Yeah, because it releases cyanide into the body if you eat it raw. Same thing with like taro root, but anyways. And then so Bianca kind of goes over that she doesn't have her vote, so she's trying to find cracks in both tribes. So like Chrissy and Mitch, they weren't working together before, but now they are because they're from the same tribe. And then Cedric and Say, except that Cedric thinks that Say is still with him, and she is over there telling Bianca, yeah, I don't think I'm going to work with Cedric anymore.
Well, she said, like, try to get a vibe of how he's feeling.
Bianca comes up to Say and says, yeah, I want to work with you too. And then Say says, I'd catch a vibe from him. I'd go see how that feels. And then later on, I think tells more about like what happened between the two of them. And so she's like not super loyal to Cedric anymore. And Cedric's over there saying like, what me and Say have is loyalty. That was funny.
He's talking to Mitch, and they're bonding over their.
Oh yeah.
Well, not bonding, but yeah. He basically reveals to him that he had not a speech impediment. He had a stutter up until like 4, I think. Was it up until 4 or it developed at 4?
It developed at 4, and then he was just talking about his therapy.
Yeah, and like the triggers that cause it to flare up. And that's when I noticed, this is completely off topic, but and speaking of Grey's Anatomy, Cedric looks a lot like Dr. Burke from Grey's Anatomy. I'm going to put up on the screen 2 pictures of them, the best ones I can find, side by side. And I think this is both because they're doctors and they're both like conventionally handsome, chiseled-ish kind of faces.
I think they look similar. I don't know that they look like really alike, but
I think they both just have like a very like stone cold face, like a very professional.
I think if we saw Cedric dress up in his like scrubs, his scrub attire,
if he had black scrubs or is it blue scrubs? It's like dark blue. I think he wears
dark blue,
and he just looks a lot like him. I had to get that off my chest before we continue. And that's pretty much it between them. I think During his interviews, Mitch sounds like his stutter's kind of getting worse.
It does sound like it's getting a little worse.
At first, like when they were introducing everybody, it sounded like he was not under control. I mean, mostly under control, but just like not as bad. But during his interview, it sounds like he's really struggling with it.
Yeah.
And that you would think that it wouldn't be as bad if it's just a one-on-one and it's more like you're by yourself and you're not talking with Jeff and everyone else around you. But I just kind of wonder how that's going to develop throughout the show.
Yeah, it could have just been that one interview, and they just showed the one interview from him, and he maybe got nervous with the one producer asking him
or the questions or whatever.
But I guess we'll see. So then we see Vula walk into their camp, and they're like, it looks like it's been deserted for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, especially when you're watching it back to back. Well, because like the last few episodes, you don't really get to get a good look at the tribes or like their home base, and then this episode is kind of like MTV Cribs, like just showing off everything that's around, and then they show up and the worst part for them is that they're not with anyone from that original tribe, so they don't know what the water well is. They don't know where like anything is.
Yeah, because they took the map with them.
Yeah, they took the map with them. They don't know anything, so they're just completely lost, and it fucking sucks. And honestly, I think it's kind of what the California girls deserve. I think after this episode, I don't really have a ton of respect for them, just because I don't think their gameplay is as well as I thought it was going to be.
No, for sure. They're guys.
It's very sloppy.
Yeah. Yeah, Camilla starts lying about her and Kyle's alliance.
Yeah.
And immediately says that she was on the bottom of Siva, which was not true.
Which is crazy because they do this in front of them with Kyle. So it's just on the fly, and they haven't spoken about it previously. Like they haven't gotten a chance to be like, "Yo, let's do this. Yeah. Let's lie about how strong let's lie about how strong or not strong our relationship is." And she just completely comes up with this lie, and they buy it.
Kyle's like, "Dope, I'm going with that."
Yeah,
he's super happy about Camilla being like so good at the game, and yeah, like you said, Shaheen just totally buys it, keeps going on, and then later, Camilla reveals that while she was being introduced to Star at one of the challenges where they both sat out, Star asked about Mitch going on the journey, and Mitch told his tribe that it was you have to do the journey, like you have to do the puzzle, you don't have an option of walking away. And Thomas said that he walked away. So she was blowing up Thomas's spot and telling the California girls, Joe and Shaheen, that he was lying about that, and that was pretty good politicking.
It was a good move.
It was it's really good.
I think kind of bullshit, but whatever.
Well, Thomas definitely thought it was bullshit. He was like, "Girl, I have lied to these men, and it is none of your business."
Yeah, and then they confront him about it instantly.
Well, he's like, "No, well, she wasn't there."
Well, yeah, his first response is, "She wasn't there. Sounds like her boy Mitch was lying," or something like that. And it's like, all right, I guess if they're gonna buy it, sure, whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And he immediately says they need to get rid of her. Like he wanted to get rid of her.
Yeah, he's like, we gotta get rid of her. And he's just not happy with that.
Okay, so then it goes to David talking about how he grew up with all sisters, so he's comfortable with like the all-girl tribe. And then they're like getting to know David more, and they ask like, David, do you have a girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
David, do you have a girlfriend? And he's like, yeah, but she broke up with me.
Yeah, so he's still labeling her as his girlfriend, but they broke up.
They broke up.
But which is crazy because I'm pretty sure I'd have to rewatch the episode, but I'm pretty sure when he was talking to Kyle about it, he either mentioned her as his fiance or that his girlfriend. He did not mention that they broke up.
I'm pretty sure he just said girlfriend. pretty sure.
Maybe. At least he was implying
I wish I
that.
still had my notes from last time.
Yeah, he's at least implying that he's gonna marry her if he gets.
Gonna marry her,
if
and they're gonna have kids together.
Yeah, so if he wins, he's gonna marry her, and he even said again. He said, "If I win and I come back, I'm gonna ask. The first thing I'm gonna ask her is her ring size."
Yeah.
So.
Because apparently her only issue is money.
Which he's got to learn. If she's not there at you're down, she's not. What's the saying?
Okay. I mean, she's 32. I remember that.
Yeah.
And she's wanting kids.
Which, yeah, that's fair.
It's like, I don't know. Without meeting this lady, we don't know.
Yeah, because we're only getting his side.
But... Yeah, but I just thought that was so funny to hear. Yeah, but she broke up with me.
Yeah, and he's
still saying I have a girlfriend. But
yeah, which is kind of sweet. I hope
she feels that way.
He's not gonna win. I think it's pretty clear that he's not gonna win. So when he comes back, I hope he finds whatever solution he can find to fix that, and he, you know.
Mary was like, "You can take care of me."
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much it with that tribe.
No, David then says that he doesn't drink water again.
Oh yeah, he drinks chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Which as a kid, I was the same way. I still don't drink a ton of water, but chocolate milk was my number one. I could not sleep without chocolate milk. I would drink chocolate milk up until like I think realistically like 12 before bed like a cup a night, I swear.
My grandpa drank a lot of chocolate milk, and he would tell me as a kid that his brown spots on his hands, like the aging spots, were from drinking too much chocolate milk.
Not true, but
obviously. But he was telling me as a kid.
I drink so much that I honestly don't have that much of a desire to drink it now. Like if it's there, I'll drink it.
That's crazy. Chocolate milk is so good.
I've just drank so much. I'm just like it's not. It's probably not even in my top 3 drinks. Now that I'm an adult, it's like beer, wine,
crazy.
Water.
That's crazy.
It's so good. It's not something I really desire. Like I did as a kid. Like I would drink it every night. Like Nesquik was making a fortune out of me.
That was your problem. You were making it from Nesquik.
Nesquik is good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Especially when you get the old one with the backwards hat bunny guy. What's his name?
Charity is like talking about how she's not a fan of David's personality. Like she's kind of jealous. Seems like that he's so like easy to make friends with. I
also wanted to bring something else that I just reminded myself of. I saw a video. I sent it to you on Instagram. I saw it. It was a video of Charity. Basically, it was an audio.
Her montage.
It was a montage. It was like when you get the call to be on Survivor, you work or something like that, or like.
You go to work.
When I got the call, what I did is I went to work, and it's just a montage of her training, like doing puzzles and like balancing shit on her hands and above her head, and like doing a bunch of Survivor shit. And it's like, yeah, you can do all that, but if you don't learn strategy, you're gonna like the best thing I can think of comparison to that is the guy last season who was dominating every single challenge. And as soon as he lost his first challenge, they threw him in, and they made him feel so comfortable, and not in a very convincing way. They were just like, "You're good, don't worry about it." And then they throw him in, and he voted for the wrong person that would have saved him. He was just such a stupid fucking player.
Who was that?
Lanky guy. He was like blonde beard. I forgot his name, but
from last season.
It was last season. He was dominating every challenge. I think that was the most dominant challenger I'd seen in a while. I think he had won like his odds were like 9 out of 10 times. Like he won pretty much every time except for 2. I think he lost one time, and they were like, "Oh, there's someone more important. We gotta get out." And then the second time he lost, they are like, "All right, he lost. We gotta get him out." Which is like, why even bother? Because he's such a shitty fucking political player. Like he was not a threat at all, and he could have saved himself, but he didn't by voting for the wrong person when it was so clear who he needed to vote for.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that vibe from Charity. I don't think as much, because I think she is thinking a little bit more strategic, because she is saying like, she's talking more like a strategic gamer because she's saying like, oh, I can get David to do whatever I want.
She
like,
thinks that she can boss him around, but then David immediately says like, no,
yeah,
I
I want to
don't
get her
trust
out.
Charity.
Yeah, so she's saying like David's the kind of guy that if you tell him to do something at the last second because he can blow up your game, what to do, he'll do it. Which
we haven't seen because their team hasn't.
Yeah,
their
they
tribe
haven't
hasn't
lost,
been tested.
so I mean, it's really hard to make that assumption when
Yeah,
there's
they haven't
really
had
no
to do
reason.
it. Yeah. So Charity is like actually underestimating David currently.
Yeah. Also, the thing I wanted to remind myself of, or I wanted to bring up on camera, as I saw a video, I think on Twitter, it was a Chapel Roan on an Instagram live or something with her girlfriend, talking about Survivor. I think the friend is like, "Oh, do you want to watch the new Survivor season?" And Chapel's like, "Why?" And then she kind of like before the other girl can answer, she says, "Oh, because of Thomas." And then I was like, "Oh, does she know Thomas?" Because I looked at the comments. It was on Twitter, and then I'll put it up on the screen exactly for what it said. But it was basically Thomas is a executive producer or like figure at Sony, and he apparently works with like all these big artists. I think he's slightly mentioned that he's worked with artists before on Survivor.
What?
But apparently he's the person that signed Olivia Rodrigo.
What?
So he signed Olivia Rodrigo. Again, this is someone from Twitter, so this could be complete bullshit. But I'm pretty sure because I think he did mention, oh, I've been under high stress, but I've worked with the biggest artists out there, but this is the most stress I've ever felt. It was during his Advantage puzzle. During that, he said I've worked with the biggest artists, and this is the most stress I've ever felt. And someone said, yeah, I guess he signed Olivia Rodrigo, who's like probably one of the biggest pop stars of this generation so far. I would say she's the only person she's under is Billie at this point.
What?
So what? Well, I guess I'm saying this generation. Taylor's a different generation. Obviously, Taylor is like the biggest, but I'm saying like
Sabrina Carpenter.
She's bigger than Sabrina.
Olivia is
objectively bigger than Sabrina. It's like objective.
Whatever.
I would say she had a bigger year, but she also didn't release anything this year. But anyway, my whole point is that it's just crazy that I think we also saw another Instagram video of somebody saying that this is the person that was the creator of White Lotus, which we haven't seen, but I know that was a pretty big show.
That was from a previous season, though.
Yeah, no, not this season, but it's just kind of crazy that the people that are on the show. Because also I remember David from his season, the little like balding guy, who was you remember David? He was a writer. He was like a TV writer, and I thought he was pretty good, but he just didn't.
Again, I forget most of these people.
He was memorable. He was memorable.
Okay, so then we get to a reward and immunity challenge. Lula comes in like, like yelling, like,
yeah, they're like, yeah, we're gonna fucking win, and then Jeff's like, wow, this is some big,
this is a lot of energy.
Basically. And then I think who is it? Camilla says, this is gonna be Vula's first.
Was it Camilla that said that?
I think she said this is gonna be Vula's first win.
Yeah.
And Jeff's like, wow, okay, guys. Okay. Which is so funny for what he says at the end of it.
Because they lose.
And then Jeff's like, it was just so much more entertaining to watch you guys say all that bullshit, and then you lose. He didn't say that specifically, but he said something basically like that.
He basically said like, wow, too bad that confidence didn't come in handy.
Yeah, or something like
that. So the first was Loggy, and then Siva was second. They both got fruit.
Which is crazy because they were 2 checkpoints behind. Loggy was 2 checkpoints behind the puzzle, so they were still throwing like shit through the window, and then after that they had to dig something and then get to the puzzle while everyone is still on the puzzle.
Yeah, Vula was actually first to the puzzle. They didn't put Camilla on the puzzle.
Yeah, they put who was it?
I didn't even write it down because I was like, that's fucking dumb.
It was Joe, Thomas, and I think Shaheen. No, Shaheen was on the back too.
I think it was.
So Kyle.
Was it? Was it?
Yeah, it was Kyle.
So Camilla got on top of Shaheen's shoulders?
Yeah, that was who it was, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Well, either way, that was fucking dumb, and Camilla should have been doing the puzzle.
They probably would have won.
Yeah, and they were there first. They obviously got last. So yeah, Vula really has some bad luck. Green is not doing good.
Green is horrible.
And then we go back to camp, and they have this like awkward interaction of like, well, how are we going to talk about this? Like,
yeah, because everyone else, the three California girls, are just like not even talking.
They already know they're voting with each other.
They're voting one of them, and then who was it? It was both of them. Kyle and Camilla are like, so how are we gonna do this? Are we gonna just? I think the best way is rip off the Band-Aid and talk one-on-one. So I think first it's Thomas and Camilla, or Thomas and
Camilla. It was Thomas and Camilla. I remember because it was like, oh shit, Camilla was talking shit behind Thomas's back, and he knows it. Is he gonna bring that up? And he didn't. Like, but the whole thing was that Camilla and Kyle were playing every single one of them. And they did a really good job.
Is what I, not to toot my own horn, but which is what I predicted. I didn't think they were going to lose right away, but I said, when I saw them as a tribe, I said their best bet, because they have so many advantages.
They have two.
Is to use the idol by just lying to them and being like, oh, or having one of them lie and be like, oh, I'm not going to vote with Kyle, I'm going to vote him out, so we're all good. And then when that happens, just play the idol and then dump it onto some person, which is exactly what they did.
They did it. And their target was Thomas.
Yeah. Which I don't think my prediction was wrong. I think the circumstances were too luck-based, because had Thomas pulled a different buff, or had he been put on a different
That's
tribe,
the entire show. That is the entire show.
I just think had circumstances been different, he would have made it to the end. He would have won.
Same thing for almost every player.
No, it's not true. There's plenty of players who live. Pizza Guy, he was never winning.
Sure.
He could have had every advantage towards him. He still would have lost.
I mean, on the On Fire podcast, Jeff
frequently... I don't give a fuck what Jeff says.
Jeff frequently pulls out his notes on each player, and he talks about like why they chose them. And it's often because they see like their personality, and they really think that they could make it to the end. And so sometimes he said,
that. He says that he thinks everyone can make it to the end.
No, he thinks that they could have done really good in the game.
He thinks Justin could have done really well in this game.
I don't remember what he said about Justin. I kind of was listening to that while falling asleep, so.
There's no way he would have been like,
but he did say that about Steph. He said it about Steph.
I think Steph, I think I could see her being a decent player. She just really got like just a horrendous start.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this game is about luck.
Yeah, but I feel like Thomas, I mean, that was just straight up bullshit, because he got put on a tribe with two players who are gaming hard. Well, I would say Camilla is gaming hard.
And Kyle is aligned with the right person.
Yeah, he's aligned with the right person, and if they make it to merge, I think.
Although at one point he was like, she may be my number one.
Yeah, he's like, she may be my number one. Like, bro, you have no one. You don't even have a number two. Like,
better fucking claim her.
Who are you talking? You don't have a number two. You don't have a number three. You don't have anybody else but her. Like, there was not a single person that he was aligned with other than her.
Yeah, that was crazy. And so, yeah, at Tribal, like, Kyle is talking, and he almost like kind of reveals like Camilla and Kyle have a better bond than the California girls think. Like, they've done all of this like acting through camp, convincing the California girls that they're totally willing to vote the other person out. One thing that we forgot was that Shaheen and Thomas go through Kyle's bag in front of Camilla.
Shaheen, he's the one with the bag, and he just fucking like limp arms the fucking bag, and he doesn't really check it, because if he checked it, he would have found it.
Well, it was in Kyle's shoe, so he was just like patting things for a hard object.
Yeah,
and so he didn't even think to.
And this season's idol, it's like it's tiny as little
beads.
Like,
I mean, it's been like that for a while,
I guess, but like it's like the smallest idol I think I've ever seen.
It's pretty small
because he plays it, and it's like
it's tiny.
It's probably like this
it's just
big.
Beads.
Yeah.
It's been like that.
Well, no, but it's beads, but it's super short.
Yeah, it's been like that.
No, I know, but I always think about Tony's idol from his season, and he had like a big old fucking chain and had like a monkey face on it. You know what I'm talking about?
I think they learned to make it like more inconspicuous.
I guess, yeah, because it was hard to hide that. I think it was just like a medallion or something. I don't remember. It was cool, and I wish they would kind of put more effort into
making
because
better idols
it's
of the
just
yeah,
beads.
yeah, I agree. I've been kind of disappointed
I
by
think they
the
should make them
immunity idols.
cooler, specific to the season, and just make it a rule like you can't search bags. Because if their whole thing is we don't want people to figure it out, like then just be like you're gonna get kicked off the island if you search bags.
That felt like a test to see if Camilla would like object to it.
Yeah, Camilla was there
She was
watching
obviously very uncomfortable and very nervous they were gonna find it.
Yeah, and we didn't know at that point if it was in there or not, but it was in the shoe.
It was in there.
And Shaheem was just, I guess, just like fiddling with the clothes. He wasn't really looking, which is crazy because that's kind of what made me lose respect for him. Because I was like, if you're gonna search a bag, search the fucking bag.
I already didn't like him before that because he was acting very cocky.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part is he's cocky, and all three of them are cocky, and Thomas is the only one that deserves to be cocky because he's the only one that's actually gaming. And Joe and Shaheem are just kind of there, and they're just like, they're not gaming while they're on this like vacation because all of Logie have been on the up, and they haven't needed to stress about anything. And during that time, Thomas has still been gaming and trying to like get advantages and make secrets and just kind of get further ahead in the game, even though at this point or at that point he didn't really need to do all that.
Yeah, I even lost like a little respect for Joe too in how he was acting.
Yeah, and again, Joe is just like he's just comfortable.
Yeah,
he's just like thinking, you can't really fault them too hard because again, they haven't really been playing the game. They've just been camping for 9 days. They haven't really been playing. And this is kind of their. I hope they're like, what's the word? A reality check that they're actually in the fucking game and they gotta actually start gaming because.
That was very satisfying to see.
Yeah,
Kyle
it was such a piss poor like because like the ways Camilla and Kyle kind of more Camilla approach that is like somebody who's been playing on this game for like 30 days. Like that was from the perspective of somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and she hadn't been to a tribal yet either.
Yeah, and
but they played them like a fiddle. Yeah, they did really good with that. And I was very impressed with that. And I'm glad that Kyle didn't use the extra vote because he didn't need to.
And Thomas, he could have saved himself if he used his extra vote. If he had
steal a vote.
It was steal a vote. He could have stolen the vote, and he could have voted for. He could have voted for anyone. It would have been a tie. No, wait.
It still wouldn't have worked because I think I mean, he would have still voted for Kyle because he didn't know that Kyle had an idol.
Ooh, yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't know why Camilla gave Kyle her steal or
yeah. So now Kyle
vote.
has her stealer vote, and he didn't use it. Extra vote, and he didn't use it. So now he just has it. I'm sure he'll give it back.
He'll give it back.
I always think of that one season where I think somebody gave somebody like an advantage, and then they didn't use it, and they didn't need to use it, and then they're like, "Can I get it back?" And they're like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep it." It's like, well, I guess you technically transferred it.
I wonder how the scramble's gonna go with finding an idol on that camp because now I wonder if there will be two because there was already one there.
Was it Vula's?
Vula. So Vula had an idol hidden on camp because
Star's still looking for it.
Say used her idol.
Oh, no, it's Logie.
Yeah. So Say used her idol, so they had hid another idol on Vula camp, and they did not even think to look for it.
Well, that's the problem. Is that they don't know if anyone found the idol on that.
I would be searching for it
either
regardless.
way.
Yeah. And so now that Kyle used his, I wonder if they're gonna hide another one on Vula.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like I really thought the way it was looking is that the tribe that Cedric and Say are on, that they were going to lose because they just seem like the weakest team.
They're close.
They were pretty close. They just seemed like physically the weakest team. But as Chef says, puzzles are always the equalizer. But
Jeff says that, or TJ says that?
I think Jeff says that.
I don't know that Jeff has ever said that.
Jeff has always said it. Puzzles are always the equalizer.
That's from the challenge.
No, it's Jeff.
That's from.
I'm willing to bet my life on it. You can shoot me now if I'm wrong, because I know for a fact Jeff has. I know for a fact Jeff has said that.
I don't think he has.
I'm pretty sure he said that. Why the fuck would TJ ever say that? He's not the type of person who would say that.
Because that's the saying on the challenge.
No, it's not.
100%.
Jeff is always over commentating. He's always like, "Oh, you're not out yet. You can always the puzzle's always the equalizer." He's always saying some shit.
He literally doesn't say it in those.
Whenever
words.
He's doing whenever there's.
He's like, "You're still in it. You're still in it."
Yeah, because he's like, "You're still in it. The puzzles are always the equalizer." He's always saying that.
He does not.
I'm so sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm right.
He doesn't say that. Comment and tell us if he says that.
Comment and tell us that I'm right, because I think I am right. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I'm pretty sure that's just a challenge phrase.
Well, whatever.
It's true.
Why would TJ
but it's a
ever
challenge
say
phrase.
That?
I don't know if TJ said it, but like the contestants say it.
The contestants definitely don't say it. It's Jeff.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm pretty sure it's Jeff who said that.
Absolutely not. Every single player on Banana says it all the time. All the time.
I tune out when Bananas talks. It's too much.
I know for sure. Banana says it.
I'm sure
so many players.
I'm sure he does. He's been on every fucking season, so he said every word that could possibly be said. So it's a challenge phrase.
No, it's not a survivor phrase.
I would remember if fucking Bananas Ball people said it, but I'm pretty sure I remember a host saying it, and I'm pretty sure it's Jeff.
So ridiculous.
Anyway, well, that's the episode. There wasn't really much to the tribal. I think it was pretty cut and dry. I mean, for the spectators, because obviously.
That's why I skipped over most of it. But...
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much said. The only thing I think worth noting was that Kyle actually almost blew up their spot because he was saying
they're both Guyanese.
They're both Guyanese, and they're both.
He considered Camilla a friend.
Yeah, and they both,
bonded over that.
Yeah, he said they bonded over something, or they bonded over their similarities, and he was kind of making it seem like, oh, maybe we're not as strained as you think we are. But then Camilla brought it back and was like, I still like you, but, I hope you know that I just have to do what I gotta do.
But I'm going to cut your throat anyways.
Yeah, so I just think it was pretty foolish of Kyle to even bring it up.
He was getting a little too close to the sun there. Lippy,
yeah. But they're fucking dumb as rocks, so they still fell for it.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. See, those are the sounds I'm talking about.
Crack.
So now that your man is out,
I already knew that this was coming. I already know who it's gonna be. I've been saying it from the start, or at least like quarter of the way through.
Who were your other two with? Thomas?
I don't remember. I was actually
you said Joe.
When I saw him. Did I say? No, I didn't say Joe.
You didn't say Joe?
I don't think so, because I think when I was sitting on the couch and I was watching Thomas being voted out. I was like, I gotta think of who might. But I'm pretty sure. I think I said it before. If they are dumb enough to let Mitch get to the merge and get to the final three, he wins. There's like literally no even point to having like a final discussion or a final tribal. Like he literally wins. There's literally no scenario where.
Didn't I say Mitch?
Mitch.
I said Joe, Eva, and Mitch.
You might have. No, you said Bianca.
I think that, yeah.
Because she's so like nothing.
Yeah.
But I just remembered who it was. It was Mitch, or no, it was my original prediction was Thomas and the old lady. She's gonna be the GOAT. Chrissy. She's gonna be. I don't want to offend her by saying the old lady. She was an older lady. She's not as she's not on Sue level.
I could not remember her name when they showed the people. I was like, and old lady.
Yeah, I mean she's older. She's not like Sue level who's pretending to be 40.
Oh my god.
But the older lady, Chrissy, I think she's gonna be the GOAT, and I think she's gonna be just kind of dragged to the end. She's gonna be the mom of the season, and she's just, or the grandma, whatever she wants to label herself. And I think I don't know. I think the tribe she's on it's a little iffy. It's 2-2-1, right?
Yeah, and Say is not with Cedric. And in
Yeah.
the upcoming, like,
They showed Mitch getting pissed off at Say.
yes, which surprise, surprise,
Yeah, which
Say is pissing people off.
I think they said, I think someone said on like a voiceover, like, Say is causing a lot of trouble, and it's like, well, fucking yeah. I mean, I guess their only hint would have been um when they started to do the original merge, like when they were doing the buffs. I think Say was the one that said, "Oh, I'm so glad to watch," or she said, "I'm so glad to watch these other teams eat each other alive because we've
Yeah.
been eating each other alive." And I think they showed Charity's face, and she was like, "Oh my god, what a
Yeah.
crazy thing to say." um,
Even though
and
it's true.
it's just true, yeah. I mean, they've literally been the only ones down there. But I think if Mitch makes it, and I think if the older lady Chrissy makes it, I think they kind of got a clear cut to the final three. It kind of just depends on Mitch's social game. We haven't really seen it in full development because he hasn't really needed to interact in a challenging way with anyone. He hasn't lost at all, and there hasn't been any conflict towards him. I think Say will be the first person that will actually start to press him and be like having him needing to plot against someone else. But I think if he makes it, I mean, come on. I mean, we're all watching the same fucking show. Like he is like the exact. It's like watching America's Got Talent, where you're like you're watching these auditions and you're
He's
watching.
a sob story.
Yeah, you're watching the auditions, and it's like somebody who gets like 30 seconds to talk about themselves, and then you get to like the last like 10 minutes of the episode, and it's somebody who's like telling their entire life story. Like I think about this guy who was he was like, I was in the war and a grenade blew up and it made me develop. No, it was he actually developed a stutter.
Oh.
And he could only the only way he could
this
not.
This is a real story.
This is a real story. He was on America's Got Talent and he was in the war and a grenade blew up around him and it caused him to stutter. And he stuttered when he talked, but when he sang, it was perfect. Like honestly, at the time I didn't think much of it, but I'm like thinking about it now. I'm like,
you're like wanting to cry.
No, I'm like thinking, did this guy just make it up so he could further himself in the competition by?
That would be wild.
Which would be insane. But I think about like stuff like that. Like obviously, it makes for good television to have somebody to kind of root for. And I think in a more cynical way, I did that for the crazy guy on the last season or 2 seasons ago, the Indian guy who was just having meltdowns, a yogi guy. I think it was last season.
No, he was not last season.
I thought he was.
He was not last
interacting with the winner of last season, but I could be wrong. But I put him up on screen if I can remember.
He was not last season.
That guy, I was rooting for him hard. I really wanted him to win, and that was more of like a cynical reason. But you know, I will say I'm bought. I'm on the Mitch train. I want him to win. I think it would soothe my soul. It would make me feel better about the evil in this world if he won a game like this, because I don't really think any of these other people deserved it. Well, I mean, Camilla deserves a win. I think Thomas deserved to win as far as like gameplay wise, but I just don't have an attachment to really any of these players anymore. My attachment was Thomas, and
it's definitely changed with this episode. I think this episode revealed a new side of Eva that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
I think that it's also part of like kind of maturity to think that you can't get along with women, and she's quite young, so I don't really like that. Like I think that she really could make some good friendships if she were open to having relationships with women, and not like romantic, just like friendships. And she seems like she's very off put by that from the get-go, so she closes that opportunity off.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she really opened up any opportunities to relate to the other women. Yeah. And even with her first tribe, I mean, there was 2 women on that tribe and they both wanted her out.
Star and Bianca. Yeah, I was gonna say like I can give Eva a little I can say like she is on a all male hockey team, and like she does seem like she is quite like manly. Like she has a lot of outdoor interests, and I'm guessing that she very much views women as like indoor
dainty and like
sewing and like
and
watching TV or like
yeah,
I don't know, just stuff that girls do, but a lot of women do a lot of different things, and she may not have learned that in where she's from, but
yeah, she could be from like
I feel like she's from the middle states.
Midwest. Yeah, I didn't really want to put any states on blast, but there are definitely some out there where it's like your women and your men are very cut and dry in who they are.
Yeah, but and then like Joe didn't seem like the same type of guy anymore because he was more with his
homeboys,
bros, and
he just seemed dumb.
Yeah, just a lot of these people were different after this episode because they had different people to be around.
Well, that and like they actually have to start thinking like with their brains.
Yeah.
And not just camp.
Yeah. I was going to say that I do think that Mitch and Chrissy could go far because if they do end up making it out of the 3 tribes and Camilla and Kyle end up making it out of 3 tribes, I think that all of them would come
Camilla
back
and Kyle
together.
on the same tribe as Chrissy and
No, a different tribe. So if all 4 of them from the 2 tribes are able to make it through to the merge, I think that they would come back together to be on an alliance and be Siva strong. Is what
honestly,
Chrissy said.
If these people don't see how humongous of a threat Mitch is in the final tribal, they deserve to lose.
Maybe Say is trying to get Mitch out.
Honestly, I think she would be the type of person who's like, yo, we gotta get rid of this guy because he's gonna win. And like no one else is willing to say it because it's like it's Mitch and he's he's got the stutter and it's like we got taboo, you don't really want to.
I wonder if she says that to Cedric.
I feel like
and then Cedric reveals it to Mitch.
I feel like she probably says it really insensitive, like, guys, we can't let the disabled guy get to the end. He's gonna wipe the floor with us.
I can totally see that.
She's gonna say something super offensive in that type of way, but it is true. I mean, you can't let him get to the end.
Yeah,
it's just it's not good for anybody's game. There's no way anyone's gonna compete with that. Well, anyway, but I think you asked me the question, who's my final 3? I think it's still Mitch. I think it's still Chrissy. I want to say Camilla, but she's gaming so hard and so well that I think somebody's going to catch on and she's going to be kind of targeted. I think the reason why Rachel was such a perfect winner last season is she was like subtle about her gameplay. I think they did catch on a little bit, but it was too late.
She was subtle for a long time, and then she was
kind of on the radar, like
she was riding high at the end because it was Rachel versus
Genevieve.
Yeah, and I remember somebody else saying like, "Fuck them for thinking that they're the smartest players, and it's just down to them."
Like, I think it was Teeny or something.
It was Teeny.
And Teeny is again brought to the end, and she fucking sucks.
Oh man,
got 0 votes.
Teeny wasn't at the end. Teeny got out from Sam.
She lost the fire. Which is crazy. Oh, that fire was so crazy.
But then Teeny revealed that she had this like internal battle against Sam that Sam had no idea about. Teeny was like fighting this battle in her head against Sam because Sam was the man that she wanted to be.
He was living rent free in her mind, and she had no idea.
Does she still use she/her pronouns?
I don't know, but she was on a cover of a trans magazine, I think. And by the way, I don't want to toot my own horn again, but from the and again, this is totally wrong if you do this in person or in real life. You should never do this.
Then why is it okay to say it?
But I kind of felt like she was trans or they were trans, and I'm a huge ally.
Teeny said that at some point.
No, not at first. At first, I said I think Teeny's trans. And then you said, no, they haven't really revealed it. I don't think so. And then I think like
I just said I didn't say I don't think so. I said Teeny hasn't said that.
I think you said that I think they're just gay or something like that.
Teeny revealed that she was interested in women.
Yeah. Or she never actually said that she's trans or that she identifies as a man or a different identity other than female. I didn't really know that she was legitimately like trans until I saw them on this cover of I forgot what magazine it was, but it was a cover of them on this magazine, and they had the surgery to remove their breast. And that's when
top surgery.
Top surgery, and that's when I found out that they had transitioned, at least cosmetically, that way. And I predicted it. I knew it. Again, which is nothing you should ever do in person. You should never be like, "Hey, are you trans? I think you're trans," or something like that. You should
Unless somebody says it, like, it's not a topic.
It's not something that you should ever bring up to somebody. Let them bring it up to you. It's just when you're watching reality TV and you know that they can't see your input on what you think of them. It's fun to just blurt out what comes into your mind. And I really did think like, oh, I think they might be trans.
I'll get canceled for hating Taylor Swift, but I don't want to be canceled.
Yeah, no, I love trans people.
Guessing if trans people are trans.
I have nothing against trans people. I'm an ally. I have zero issue with them. I actually like trans people more than I like most
regular people.
At least my experience with trans people. But like I said, I'm pretty good at these calls, and I actually predicted pretty early that Teenie was going to be the goat that like kind of everyone brings to the end. And she, oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen anybody with.
She was so bad.
Yeah, like she
was so gullible.
I've never seen anybody on the outs of votes as much as they were. I think there were so many times. I think they were the most blindsided I've ever seen somebody ever have on that show. I think about The Traitors a lot because we've been watching it. We actually just watched season 1 of the UK version because we watched all the American versions. And there's always one season where there's somebody who's just always voting on the outs, and like it's just completely wasting votes
because they're fucking dumb.
Because they're so dumb. I think last season was Dolores. She was just completely gun set on Tom, even though like Tom was not a traitor, and like there was just no reason. They were just both wasting votes, and during very critical votes.
That was pretty funny though.
It was pretty funny, but you know, I think I don't know what I was gonna say with that. I'm just yapping.
Yeah, we're just yapping at this point.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add to this episode?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I think I'm more excited towards the upcoming episodes of Survivor. I think for the first 3, it was just like, all right, let's watch.
Seeing the same tribe go to tribal council 3 times in a row. Again. Yeah, it was very boring. And then Lula lost again, but at least it was brand new people going to tribal.
Yeah,
they had never been. So yeah, it's a little more exciting.
I never answered your question. So my
yes, you did.
Who's my? I never said my third.
You said Mitch, Chrissy.
I never said my third.
Oh my god.
So my third is. Let me think about it. I think I did say it could maybe be Camilla, but I think she's gaming too hard. If Camilla plays her cards right, I think she could make it to the end. I don't think Kyle's gonna make it to the end.
Also, I think this is unfair. Like, we already know that you lost.
Okay, well that's bullshit. Because again, this is not fair. Like the way that he lost.
That's the way the game goes. Well, that's why I said, like, from the get-go, it's really hard to say who's gonna win from the get-go because there's so many twists and turns of the game that you cannot like base it off of how they're doing. I'm just saying. Are you serious?
Anyway, I think Camilla could make it to the end if she plays her cards right and if the bullshit doesn't go away. I don't think Kyle's gonna make it to the end. I think he's not. I think
Camilla would.
He's not
take
as tapped
Kyle.
In. I think he will take
as far as she can.
I think she will take him as far as she can, but I don't think Kyle's tapped in like Camilla is.
Although he was quick on his feet to go along with what Camilla was saying.
Yeah, I'm just, I think last season, I think I predicted pretty well that the winner of that season.
There is no video evidence.
There is no video evidence, but I think it was like episode 3. I'm like, I think she's gonna win. I think.
Are you kidding me? I said that.
No, wait. I'm thinking of the wrong season. It wasn't Rachel. It was Redhead from last season, 2 seasons ago.
Redhead. She wasn't a redhead.
Short redhead.
You're talking about D?
No, that was 3 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago, a redhead one.
No recollection.
Well, a redhead one, and she had like a bunch of tattoos. And I was like, I think she's gonna win. On like see episode 3, and I wish I had it on video, but I'm pretty sure.
Kenzie Petty.
You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, her.
I don't remember her season though.
She just had a kid.
Oh, she defeated Charlie.
Oh my god, why'd you remind me? Charlie should have won that season. Oh my god, that's.
I think he was second.
He was second. He would have won if that bitter fucking lady. I'm not gonna discriminate her. Good mean it's Karma. He outplayed her, and she
liking Taylor Swift that
much. Okay, that's whatever. He's absolutely spewing out bullshit at this point.
Oh, okay. Because Taylor is such a great woman.
No, she's not, but she's got some bangers. But I can't think of anyone who I think is going to be top 3. I think for sure Mitch and older lady Chrissy. I think Chrissy is 100% making it. I don't think Mitch is 100%.
I think she's only in her 50s, which is like as old as her mom.
Yeah, this is true, and she is the oldest person on the islands. That's why I'm referring to her as old lady. You know, technically there's an old lady and there's a young lady. The young lady on this scenario would be Eva. But anyway, Chrissy's making it 1,000%. She's gonna make it to the end. Mitch, 80% sure. Maybe not even that. Maybe more 50-50. I think even if Say plays her cards right, she can make it. But I think she's just too much of a loose cannon for anyone to trust her.
Now you're just going through every player.
I am. Well, there's so many players that I know aren't going to make it. Like, I don't think David's going to make it. It's
also unfair. You watch them for four episodes.
No, I know for a fact David's not going to make it. I know for a fact Joe's not going to make it. I know for a fact Shaheen's not going to make it.
How do you know that for a fact?
Because they fucking suck. They're not doing anything. Cedric is definitely not making it. Cedric fucking sucks.
Yeah, Cedric will not make it.
Cedric is not making it. I knew from the jump Justin is not making it. I thought the other K, what was his name? Not Kevin. The guy who got voted out, Kyle. Oh no, it was Kevin. Kevin. I thought Kevin might have made it pretty far, but he got fucked over by Blindside.
Well, I think you're just prolonging this. So.
I'm just straight up yapping at this point, but I think that's this episode of Reality Armchair. We're now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you want to watch it over there.
We also have TikTok, Instagram.
I'll put it up on screen. We're not really posting on there, but if we do post it, we'll be on there.
We have like record videos that you could watch if you want.
Yeah, we have record videos you can watch, and I'll try to put more output because I feel like we're kind of tied up with Reality Armchair for at least like 3 days. You know, we record it, and then I gotta edit it, and then I post it on hopefully Fridays. But I'm gonna try to start implementing more stuff, whether it's older content that we have on the hard drive or whether it's new stuff we record. I think we're gonna try to do more vinyl content and music reactions, maybe even more movie reactions. We have 1 movie reaction up now, and it wasn't too difficult. We just got to get the setup set up again, and we might start to do another series like this covering TV shows like Gilmore Girls, which would be a huge commitment. That would be like what, 100 episodes?
It's 7 seasons, and then the 4 episodes.
Which is how many episodes though altogether?
I don't know. You think I know every single amount of episodes? That's crazy. I know there's 7 seasons.
My guess would be like 80 episodes. So that's like 80 episodes of what we would be doing. So yeah, there's quite a bit of other stuff that we want to tap into, not just Reality Armchair, but we'll get to it when we get to it. We'll try to be as transparent as what's going on.
We're parents to toddler.
We're parents to a toddler, so there's a lot of limitations on time wise. But when we get time, we'll try to focus more on other stuff outside of Reality Armchair. But you can for sure expect a new episode once a week of Survivor. If another show pops up like Love is Blind, that we're interested in, we'll talk about it. If another show like the Challenge, their next season is interesting, we'll talk about it. The Traders, we'll probably talk about season 4 of the Traders, whatever it is. I think it's kind of proven itself at this point to be interesting enough to talk about.
We could even talk about the Traders UK season 3 because I think that just released on Peacock
Season
in
3?
the US. Yeah.
Really? Well, we still got season 2 and 3 to watch, but
yeah,
we might do that. We might even put it up on Patreon. We don't. Who knows? But at this point, that's all we have for now. Is this episode, and for sure the next one, and after that, every week. Like and subscribe if you liked. You have anything else to add?
Good night.
Good night. It is late at this point. We got the challenge to watch.
Oh yeah, we always forget about that because Wednesday's a Survivor.
Wednesday is a Survivor and Challenge, and
we do this first.
Yeah, we always got to do this first.
Okay. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Oh my god.